Okay, imagine this. You are in a region, or you are from a region which is cut off from the rest of the world. Your relatives cannot get in touch with you, or you cannot get in touch with them from that region. And it has been in war for 2 years, but the world is not paying attention, or the world does not know what is going on. Now, I'm talking about a region from Ethiopia, particularly from the north, and this is the region of Tigray. So almost 100,000, even more people have been displaced. Some have lost whatever they have, and many of them are displaced. They're in camps in Sudan. I'm talking about those who had a chance to escape. But if you don't have a chance to escape, then what happens? Of course, you suffer. So that's what happened. Now, what I really want to talk about today is I wonder why wars in Africa, they're not paid attention to. By the way, I'm a man called Jay. You're watching AIL TV. So, again, I'm in a park. I'm enjoying myself. I've come to see people and see the world go by, and well, of course, hear birds singing. And that is the freedom that we enjoy here. But as you know, most people in Africa, in many regions in Africa, do not have that freedom. Now, as I've said, Tigray is a region in the north. People are suffering until today. But let me make it clear, I do not have any affiliation with any political organization. I do not support TPLF. I do not support the government forces of Ethiopia. But I see people suffering who look like me. Does not even have necessarily to look like me, but I see people suffering for no reason. And for those people who are suffering, probably have got no connection with that political situation in Ethiopia. But always it is the common man who suffers. Whereas those who are instigating these atrocities have got their children somewhere in America, have got their children here in Europe, and there is a strong evidence to show that when these leaders are busy causing catastrophe in many parts of Africa, their families live happily here in the UK or in the US. So, but let me show you some of the video clips. I have been following these people from the Tigray. They've been on the streets demonstrating. I have followed them in Cornwall during the G7 summit. And since then, I have been in touch with them, and some of them have actually done extensive interviews telling me how the situation is. But my question is that why does Ethiopia or the Tigrayan authorities let people suffer like that? What exactly are they trying to achieve? So this question here, I put it to Alex Bahanu.
The latter, to administer their own local affairs. Previously, no ethnic minority was allowed to speak their own language, to use it in a press or in books. But TPLF said, you have the right to use your own language, to respect your culture, to teach your children with your own language. Previously, everybody had to be forced to speak, to learn Amharic, and to have an Amharic speaker judge. And when there is a court trial, there need to be an interpreter. But this was cut off. When the Tigrans came to power, they didn't force any nationality or nation to dress like the Tigrans, to eat like the Tigrans, to have their hair configured like the Tigrans, or to dance like the Tigran music, or to tune to Tigran music. They recognize everyone's culture as equal. If you don't recognize me as a friend on equal par, would I be befriended with you? Would I come and enjoy and visit with you? No way.
On the humanity side, I just also want now to, let me just say this clear. When you see, say for example, the events that are taking place in Ukraine, Ukraine has had a wide support worldwide. Well, when we talk about worldwide, we always make mistakes. But let me repeat this. Ukraine has had support, or is having support from the USA, from Europe, and that actually shows you how together these countries or these nations come together when they want to solve a problem. So one, we know in Europe there has been two world wars, the first and the second. And they do not want to see another war happen again. And that I can understand. But on the other hand, you'll find that many people are beginning to question, why is it that Ukrainians are welcomed in Europe with open arms, whereas other refugees, well, of course now they're being shipped to Rwanda. But that is not the point. I'm not going to talk about that. But I will still want to insist on saying that probably it is time now Africa learned a lesson from Europe. These problems that are taking place in Africa, we have got wars going on in Cameroon, in Nigeria, and many parts of Africa. Yet, we haven't been able to solve these problems. And mind you, you have to remember this. The African Union is based in Addis Ababa. So you have to ask yourself, what is the African Union for? If these guys in Tigray are suffering the way they do. And is it because the African Union has no power to stop whatever is going on? The headquarters of African Union being in Addis Ababa itself. Yet you have got thousands of people suffering in Tigray. I don't think that is that is acceptable. But we as Africans, wherever you are, whether you are in the diaspora or you are on the continent, what can we do to solve our problems? I'll give you one example. In Europe, many people have come together to collect money. Pink Floyd and Elton John just a week ago, they collected $100 billion for Ukraine. Now, the war in Ethiopia or in Tigray has been going on for 2 years now. But it seems nobody pays attention to it, except for a few people like me and other people who are interested in African matters. Why can't we get together like the Europeans do and solve this problem? These people in Tigray, they need medicine. Their living conditions is just like you might call hell on earth. So, is that really a bigger problem, or is that a big challenge for us, even to have to initiate a £1 campaign to help these people. As I said, I don't have relatives in Tigray. I'm not affiliated with any political organization whatsoever. But when you see this kind of thing happening in Africa, and we are in 2022, we can't solve these problems. We have no way of solving them, and we do not know when the situation will end. So, I'm always on the street. Just a couple of days ago, I was on the street again. The guys, the young children, grown-ups, they all come again in their hundreds to say, please, help Tigray. And this time what they're saying, let it be recognized that there is a war. People are suffering. See, what really annoys me, or what gets me, is this. I do not understand when Tigrayans have been saying that there is genocide going on in Ethiopia. UN, the President of the United States, and many other countries refused to endorse that idea that there is genocide going on in Tigray. But the war that has happened in Ukraine for only maybe 50 days so far, I could be wrong, I could be right, but not all that long. Joe Biden actually confirmed that there is genocide going on in Ukraine. So, what will it take for all these world leaders, including the UN itself, to realize that what is happening in Tigray is genocide? Yeah, well, so now I leave it up to you to make a decision. But as I've said, there are really many people suffering out there. It is time now we come out, we realize that what is going on in Africa, it is only we Africans who can help ourselves. We can rely on Europe. Europe, they will just give us lip service and stuff like that. They will come up, they will say nice things in the media. Oh yeah, and we are tired of words, man. Words do not solve problems. It is actions which solve problems. Now I'm going to leave you with just a few interviews, or just a video clip of where I was. This is a couple of days ago. These are young women, bright young women. They're actually expressing their frustration. Now you listen to these guys and tell me if you're not touched.
Well, we're all gathered here today because there has been an ongoing genocide in the northernmost region of Ethiopia and Tigray. So for the past 17 months, what we've had is non-stop bombing, shellings, the government of Ethiopia completely blockading the region of Tigray. So there's no food, no medical aid, nothing that the Tigrayan people need to survive is really entering the region. Tigrayans, there's 900k Tigrayans right now living under famine conditions because of the siege that has been placed on by the government of Ethiopia and the government of Eritrea. So for the past, I think 7 months, it's been since July, the Tigray region has completely been cut off with no electricity, no telecommunications, no sort of journalism, no actual reliant journalism coming out of Tigray consistently. But we do hear, from what we do hear that comes out of Tigray, it's really a dark image. We can see from the western Tigray, there's been an amnesty report that's just come out, which really sheds light on the ethnic cleansing of a region for the Amhara, which is the neighboring region of Tigray, where they've got a militia who claim the Tigrayan land. So with their claims to Tigrayan land, what they've been doing for the past 17 months is they've entered through Humara, through Western Tigray. They've been massacring for rape. They've been using rape as a weapon, they've been using food as a weapon, they've just been non-stop terrorizing the people of Tigray to take our land or to get rid of our people, to annihilate the Tigrayan people. So we're here gathered, we've been gathered for 17 months now, we've been coming out for 17 months. We're basically asking the people of Britain to listen, not ignore what's happening in Ethiopia. You know, we've seen a lot of outcry recently for what's happening in Europe and Ukraine, which is brilliant. You know, it's lovely to see humanity stand up for others. It's just been really disappointing as a Tigrayan, as an African, to see not the same amount of light, almost no light shed on Tigray at all. The very rare bit of information that we see come out of Tigray, people don't really seem to care. It's either people don't seem to care because we're black, or people don't seem to care because it's not Europe. But yeah, Tigrayans are dying. There's 500k Tigrayans estimated to be dead because of this genocide. And then on top of that, we still have another 900k, as I mentioned earlier, who are living under famine conditions. And you don't stay in famine conditions for 17 months. People are dying of starvation. What's happening in Tigray is dire. People are dying right now.
Fundamentally, we're here today to protest against the ongoing genocidal war on Tigray, which has been going on for over a year and a half now, without any, relevant media coverage or outrage from the international community. Essentially, the main points and motivations behind why we're marching today is with regards to ending the siege on Tigray, ending the weaponized rape and sexual gender-based violence against the women and young women of Tigray as well, and also the indiscriminate killings because of our ethnicity. Fundamentally, our ethnicity is not a crime, and we are essentially protesting in order to raise awareness but also push the international community to act. We've seen that if they're willing to, they are able to do so with the response to Ukraine, and their ability to condemn, and rightfully condemn, the human rights abuses against the Ukrainian people should be mirrored for the people of Tigray as well. Tigrayans are currently under siege in a blackout, disconnected from the wider world, and we are their only voice at this moment in time. The international community is also their only voice, and so we are relying on the international community to step up to the plate and fulfill their promise of never again. We need to ensure that we protect Tigrayans and that we are doing enough to end this genocidal war on Tigray, because it will get to the point where it is too late, and we don't want to hear never again. We don't want to hear apologies and words of condemnation when it's too late. So yeah, we're here to push the international community to act and raise awareness.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Tigray genocide. It was more than 17 months that genocide has happened in Tigray. So I want to speak on behalf of Tigray people that they are genocide, they are dying, they are raping. So the world does not act on it. The world has to act practically on behalf of Tigray. They must stop. Humanitarian access has to be open. Tigray must be free. Comparatively with Ukraine, is 15 days war, but they give priority for those people. But in Tigray, there are a lot of people, immigration people died, genocide, and still now they are continuing war. So the world has to be confirmed or just to stop the genocide as soon as possible. They must act now. The reason why we are here is a protest for Tigrayans in UK, that we are decided, or we are passing our message. Abiy Ahmed and Isaias Afwerki has to be gone or thrown to ICC. They have to take any decision. The world has to have in action, not in word, not just written action by today, by now.
وولد ومنفس قدوس أحد أملاك آمين زخبركمن زخبركنن أوزو علات زي تأكيهم زلهم خلاتكم نايلومي علما تأكيونا زلنا قداي سلا أبهاجرنا زفت أرزلو جونوسايد شكاني يو أوزي تأكيونا لو علم ክነስምዕ ድምፅና ክነስምዕ ኢና ኣብዚ ተኣኪብና ዘለና ታዲያ ኣብ ዓድና ተፈጢሩ ዘሎ ሰብ ብጄኖሳይድ ኣዴታት ይቕተላ ህፃናት ይቕተለለው ቤተክርስቲያን ይፈርሰሎ ሃይማኖት ይጠፍአሎ ኩሉ ትግራዋይ ክጠፍእ ኣብ ዓለም ተወሲንሉ ስለዚ ያው ልዙ አሕና ደግሞ ለዓለም ክነስምዕ ድምፅና ኢና ኣብዚ ተኣኪብና ዘለና ማለት እዩ ምክንያቱ ልምንታይ እዩ ትግራይ ክጠፍእ ዝተደለየ ትግራይ ማለት ኢትዮጵያ ዝፈጠረ ቀለም ዝቀረጸ ሃገርን ዝመስረተ ሃይማኖትን ዝመስረተ ልዩነት ሃይማኖት ዘይብሉ ዝመስረተ ሃገር ቀዳማይ ሃገር ስለዝኾነ ስለዚ ለዚ ጉዳይውን ንብረቱን ሃፍቱን ፍልጠቱን ብሙሉ ልምዝማት ተባሂሉ ዝግበር ዘሎ እዩ ማለት እዩ ስለዚ እዚ ጉዳይ እዚ ካብ ጥንት ጀሚሩ እዩ ነይሩ ማለት እዩ ሕጂ ዝበኣሰ ስለዝኾነ እምበሪ ካብ ቀደም ካብ ጥንት ጀሚሩ ትግራይ ብጣዕሚ ልምዕትን ብጣዕሚ ልምዕታ ሃገር ፍልጥታ ሃገር እያ ነይራ ማለት እዩ ስለዚ በዚ ምክንያት እዚ ግን ኣብ ሰዓት እዚ ብጦርነት በዲሙ ብጦርነት ናብ ሓው ተቃፂሉ ናብ እምኒ ተቃፂሉ ሃገርና ኣብ ሰዓት እዚ ግን ህዝቡ ጠቅላላ ካብ ገጸ መሬት ጠፊኡ ፍልጠቱን እውቀቱን ተሰሪቁ ተዘሚቱ ልክነብር እዩ ተፈሪድዎ ዘሎ ማለት እዩ በዚ ጉዳይ እዚ ደግሞ አንሕና ማለት እዩ ናብ ዓለም ክነስምዕ ድምፅና ኢና ኣብዚ ተኣኪብና ዘለና ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ዓለም ብሙሉ ዙናትና ንገብሮ ዘለና ንባዓትና ንብኽያትናን ጄኖሳይድ ዝኹሉ ተመልኪቱልና ሰሚዕና ድምፅና ልክ ዩክሬን እውን ተኮይኑ ይሕመና እዩ ማለት ዩክሬን ዝግበል ዘሎ ጄኖሳይድ ሶርያ ዝተፈጽሞ ዘላ ጄኖሳይድ ብጣዕሚ ንዓና እውን ይሕመና እዩ ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ሰብ ከማና ሰብ ይመቡት ዘሎ ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ዓለም ናበይ ክትኸይድ ከላ ዓለም ክምልከት ከም ዘለዎ ንዓና ደግሞ ክርየና ኣለዎ ማለት እዩ ልክዕ ንክርየን ኩሉ ዓለማት ዘሪእዋ ከም ዘለው ከምኡ ደግሞ ናትና ህዝብ እውን ጄኖሳይድ ምዃኑን ተመልኪቱ ጄኖሳይድ ዝፍጠር ዘሎ ያው ከብለልና ማለት እዩ ክርየልና ዓለም ክሰምዐልና ኢና ተኣኪብና ዘለና ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ይሕመና እዩ ናይ ዩክሬን ዘለውን ስለዚ ንዓና እውን ቆልሓታ ክግበረልና ኢና ኣብዚ ተኣኪብና ዘለና ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ዓለም ብሙሉ ድምፅና ክሰምዕ ንላው ኣለና ስለዚ እግዚአብሔር አምላኽ ሰላም ይሃብና እሕና ሰላም ኢና እንደሊ ሰበይ ንቀትል ናይ ሰብ ንብረት ኣይንወስድ ስለዚ ሰላም ኢና እንደሊ ማለት እዩ ሰላምና ክበዝሕ ዓለም ክርየልና ስለዚ ጄኖሳይድ ዝገብሩ ዘለው ኢሳያስን ዓብይ አሕመድን እዚኦም ዝገብርዎ ዘለው ጄኖሳይድ ስለዚ ያው ዓለም ርዩ ትዕግስቲ ክዕግሰልና ኢና እንደሊ ሰሪሕና ክንነብር ኢና እንደሊ ምስ ሰብ ክንዋጋ ክንቃተል ኣይንደልን ኢና ሰላም ኢና እንደሊ ሰላምና ተዘሪጉ ዘሎ ሰላምና ክምልሰልና ዓለም ኣብ ጎድና ጠጠው ክብል ኢና እንደሊ ማለት እዩ ብጣዕሚ እየ ዘመስግን ክብሪ ይሃበለይ